you should trust your girl. That you should let her go to a singles club, and all clubs are singles clubs, and let her get drunk and let her dance.
Let her? You own her?
That's
Are you
what
her
happened.
fucking parent?
It happened to me in college.
If I'm being honest with you, I don't go out to clubs anyways. Like, you're gonna get to know the woman that I am. I don't go to clubs.
I'm not talking about. I'm speaking in generalities here. So
and let her.
But how far do you take? How far do you take your? How far do you take that?
I'm like, a grown ass woman. Nobody owns me. I don't get permission. They either want to be with me and they're down for it, or they're not. That's not my problem.
Okay, so if I'm in a so hold on, just to be clear, you're a grown ass woman, and you're in a monogamous relationship, and at some point in the relationship, you determine, I want to go f somebody else, and your boyfriend says, no, I'm not letting you do that.
It wouldn't go that way. I would bring it to my partner and I would say, this is a desire that I have.
Oh, well, that's an instant breakup for any respectable guy.
I'm having this fantasy, just like he could come to me and say, there's this girl at the gym that's super hot. What do you think?
I think confessing temptation could be healthy, but that's why you have other people to confess
I understand, but let me just interject. Sometimes it's just a matter of needing to have the safety to be honest with the person and say, I'm having this desire. Let's talk it through. Why am I having this? Is there a need that's not getting met?
That's a separate conversation.
But at the end of the day, if I truly wanted to go and sleep with somebody else, this or that, it's never a permission thing. It's
but what I'm trying to, you have the agency to go out and do whatever you want.
But if I love you,
hold on, let me finish. What I'm trying to articulate here is that the relationship is over. Okay, it's not going to be a controlling thing, but I'm letting you know that if you're
Lol Paladins donated $200. You need to let her ask another D, otherwise you're controlling and abusive. Send these 304s back to the streets.
Well put, Lol Paladin. So, look, I am going to be upfront about my expectations and standards and preferences.
So we
Hold on.
Would end
Let
up
me.
in a
Can you stop interrupting? Stop. So, if a girl is inclined to, for example, go out to nightclubs, hey, if you want to go do that, you have the power to go do it. Our relationship is over. If you want to, obviously, I wouldn't even consider, like a girl couldn't even step to me and be like, I want to see I want to be with another dude.
So that's the thing.
Over.
What you need
there
to
is no conversation.
But what you need to understand is
you need to learn how to let people finish their sentence.
I'm sorry.
Fully finish their sentence, because it's very complicated when there's multiple people talking. Only one person can be heard at a time. Go ahead.
I was just saying that like a person like you and I, if we have those differences in philosophies or whatever you want to say, relationship orientation is what I call it, we would never end up in an exclusive relationship with each other. We're just not compatible, and that's fine. I would only be with the compatible men who operate the same way, right? That's in a sense, it works perfectly because they're the same way. We all have the expectation. We have the same understanding, and that's it. If we hit a road where we're not compatible, we just part ways. Easy peasy.
Now, Andrew, I've heard you had interesting conversations that's perhaps somewhat related to the whole friend dynamic here, related to submission. Andrew, I'd like to perhaps hear you have a bit of a back and forth with her when it comes. Do you consider yourself submissive? Like, would you be? Would you be submissive to a man?
100%. I want a man to lead.
Also,
go ahead, Andrew.
So let me kind of give you my perspective here, and you can tell me what you think. But if you're in a committed relationship, or a woman expects you to be in a committed relationship, wouldn't it be a great sign of respect from somebody who claims that they're submissive to remove from the category any male friends that they may have? As men often say, it's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust them. The truth is both, though, right? The truth is that they're looking for respect from their woman, and they know that, as the old saying goes, right, a shoulder to cry on becomes a... You can finish it, right? A shoulder to cry on becomes a what?
I don't know, but I can imagine.
I have no idea. I've never even heard that.
Becomes a D to ride on, right? A shoulder to cry on becomes a D to ride on.
I've never heard that.
That's the old adage, right? Is that, and it's true. So if you guys will humor me for just a second, isn't it true that when you're in a vulnerable state, all of you probably on this panel have had male friends who've probably tried to exploit that so that they could have sex with you?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No.
A male friend? No.
Yes.
Or a male period.
Well, a male, yeah, in general, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I mean, so men, especially when we're going through high school, middle school, things like that, we see all sorts of pathetic who do this type of shit, right? They're like, you know, she just broke up with such and such. Oh, that's terrible, sweetheart. I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's kind of my line on this is, don't you think that it's really respectful if you want a committed relationship? If he says, look, I'm the focus then. Yeah. If I'm your man, I'm the focus, and that's that.
And he needs to deserve that, right?
Hang on. Let her finish. You've had a lot of speaking time. And no disrespect to you, but let us have this exchange if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you because I've been in 2 relationships, and in both relationships, they were the main focus. It wasn't Corey. Every time I went to go out and hang out with people, it was literally with my man. I was with my man 24/7. Sure. And for me personally, I'm not sexually attracted to Corey. He's not sexually attracted to me. It has never been like that. We've even had this conversation before. I said, have you ever looked at me like that? He's like, ew, no. I was like, okay, good, thank God. Because that would have been weird for our relationship if he ever told me.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're just going to assume it's all true, or we'll assume he's your gay friend or whatever. Regardless of all of that.
Yeah.
If your man says to you, listen, as a sign of respect to me, I want all men cut out of your life, okay? I want them out of your life, and I need to be the focus of your life. Isn't that true submission?
No, because, okay, if I'm being honest, okay, I would just say my mother and my dad, they've been together for over 30 years, and her best friend is a man. And I asked my dad, have you ever had a problem with their friendship? And my dad told me no. He said, why would I have a problem with that? I like Julian. Like there is,
and the thing is that perhaps inside of that dynamic, this was able to work, but the truth is that the chances of fidelity or infidelity significantly decrease if you don't put yourself in a position to commit infidelity, right? So, in other words, if you're a man and you have a job where you're at a strip club or something like this, or you're around tons of promiscuous women, I would say that your chances of infidelity would increase no matter how high your virtue is, because you could just have a moment of weakness, right? You could just fuck up, have a terrible moment of weakness, ruin everything for yourself due to that. And so usually what I see people in successful relationships do is move themselves away from anything that could cause any sort of potential problem for them, because we're only human, right? So if a man were to ask you, like, look, I understand that this guy is an old friend of yours, I get it, right? And I'm not even saying that you would do anything, but as a sign of respect to me, if you truly are submissive and you want me, then it needs to just be me. Doesn't that seem reasonable?
Can you meet all the woman's needs?
No. I understand what you're saying.
Let us assume for a moment that you can't. Let us assume that you have some failures, that you're not perfect, because nobody is, including you.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's an unreasonable thing to request that if you want to be with me for the rest of your life, I don't ever want to have to worry about you? And you know what? You know how I can always be assured that I never have to worry about you? Because I know that I'm the person you're focusing on.
That sounds
and I know
lazy.
that because you showed me this huge respect by focusing on no other men but me.
So I don't even have sex at all because I don't like being touched unless I'm in a relationship. So there would be no worry about me stepping out. There's no point in me stepping out for what? What's the reason? So for him to think or assume I could possibly step out with Corey, that's dumb. We would have done something within the last 16 years. Nothing has ever happened.
I'm not even disputing any of this. Like you know far better than I do.
No, I see exactly what you're saying.
You know you far better than me. I'm not even disputing any of that. What I'm saying is, I think what you're doing is you're internalizing from your perspective what I'm saying. Externalize instead and look at it from the man's perspective. From his perspective, not your perspective. You could be correct about all of this. In fact, he could even be wrong. But part of submission is that even if he could be wrong, you follow him anyway. Because the truth is that when you're submitted, he gets almost everything right. And if he's wrong about a couple things, and that's what it takes for you to be in that kind of relationship, isn't that worth it?
Can I say something?
Hang on, let her finish. Hang on, we're almost done. We're almost done with the exchange.
I can't end a 16-year friendship with someone that has been in my life. I just can't do it. Now, if that's the only flaw that you can find in me, then I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job at being a good woman. If that's the only thing.
And listen, I'm not, again, I don't even need to really dispute that, so that I understand though, but think of it from the man's perspective.
Yes.
What he's saying is that you're picking him over your man. No. That's how I know you don't think so. Externalize.
I know, I'm telling you. Think
of it from their perspective.
Yeah,
he's going to think that shit.
Okay.
He's going to think, she's not willing to give me the respect that I'm asking for in this committed relationship and put me first. Why would he waste his time?
He would be put first because he's going to be the one putting babies in me.
Come on,
sister. But you know, I'm going to explain from the assurance standpoint.
Yeah.
The way that he knows that the babies are his is that you're not around other men. that's the evolution, old. So think about it this way: before we had paternity tests, which are new, right? They're new to this century. Before we had paternity tests, the best way to assure that your offspring was yours is that your woman was exclusive to you. That's the only way you could know. So it's kind of built into men that if your woman's around a lot of other men, they could be unsure. And so, of course that would cause an insecurity, that's probably a good insecurity to cause, right?
So me being in the fitness industry and being around a lot of guys that work out, are you telling me that he's going to say, nope, you can't go to any fitness events?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that if it was in a professional setting that you're working around men or something like this. I think that most men are reasonable when it comes to such a setting. But I think that if you're out hanging out with other men exclusively, doing things with them, maybe you and your friend like to go to movies, or maybe you like to go to his house and hang out, or maybe you like to go do A, B, or C, that I think that it's reasonable for them to see it as a sign of disrespect,
Well, we'd have to have that conversation because I'd be very open about everything. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And like I said, I don't have sex at all. Me personally, I know there's a lot of other out here that with their friends. I'm not like that. I don't have a roster of guys. I'm dating with intent. I want to get married and have children. And if a guy were to tell me, I don't think you can be friends with Corey anymore, then I guess him and I aren't going to work. Because my dad loves Corey, and my mom, everybody. He's
then
a
what
good
you've
guy.
Told me is that your highest value is always going to be Corey.
It's not. It's not. Because if it was, we'd be together.
You got to think of it externally from you. From the man's perspective, your highest value is your best friend. So he's always going to feel like he's second rate to your best friend. And why wouldn't he think that?
I can see that, but that wouldn't be the case.
I know that may not be the truth of the matter. But if it's truly submission, then even when he's wrong, right, or you think he's wrong, that is what submission is. Even when you think he's wrong, you still submit. And that's where I think this disconnect happens constantly between men and women when it comes to submission. They don't really know what that means.
I think the pretext too is maybe like this is an actual leader, someone that we can trust, someone that is worthy of being submissive to. I think if he's not, then
that's the opposite of worthy. No, that's the opposite. Listen, let us assume for a moment you chose him because he had all these leadership skills that you just loved, right? And you married him and you have submitted to him. There might be years where he does things you don't like.
Right.
There might be years where you have a rocky relationship. There might be years where you're working through this in marriage, right? And you disagree with most of his choices. But that's what submission is.
Yeah.
That's what submission in marriage is. It's work, right? It's work. And you don't want to abandon that because you think he's making all the wrong decisions. Because the truth is that you could be making the wrong decisions, right? You don't know. That's what submission means.
So, can I say something?
-_2_.